So, imagine if a sarcastic meme page on your phone suddenly gained more followers than your country's actual ruling government.
Right.
And then, all of a sudden, those followers physically showed up at the Capitol.
I mean, it sounds like the plot of a dystopian comedy.
Yeah.
But looking at the situation in India as of June 2026, it is a very real, very disruptive political reality.
It really is. So welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is to unpack a massive stack of, well, news reports, web archives, and social media analytics for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of data to get through.
Exactly. And it's all about this viral phenomenon called the Cockroach Janata Party, or the CJP. We really want to understand how a satirical online joke about insects, mutated into a massive, on-the-ground youth movement that is currently challenging the Indian political establishment.
Right, but before we go any further, we need to set the ground rules for you, the listener. The sources we are analyzing today contain some highly politically charged allegations.
Yeah, very charged.
We have claims from the ruling Indian government, counterclaims from the opposition, and obviously fierce rhetoric from the protesters themselves.
Right, and we want to make it absolutely clear that this deep dive does not take any sides.
None at all.
We do not endorse the viewpoints of either the government or the activists. We are strictly here to impartially report the factual events and the arguments exactly as they are presented in the original source material.
Our objective is solely to understand the mechanics of what happened and how it escalated so quickly.
And the escalation is really the fascinating part here.
Oh, absolutely. To understand how thousands of angry students ended up occupying the streets of New Delhi, the timeline requires us to rewind to May 2026.
Okay, so let's go back.
The initial spark didn't happen at a protest rally. It happened accidentally, inside the Supreme Court of India.
Wait, the Supreme Court, usually that's the last place you'd look for viral internet culture. I mean, they deal in constitutional interpretation, legal precedent, highly formalized language.
In a typical setting, yes. But during a particular hearing, Chief Justice Surya Kant was expressing mounting frustration over bad faith actors who were just clogging up the legal system.
Okay.
In his oral remarks from the bench, he compared certain individuals who were attacking institutions through digital activism to cockroaches and parasites.
Wow, that is exceptionally heavy language for a Chief Justice. I mean, it carries an undeniable sting.
He realized that, too. He later issued an official clarification, stating his remarks were strictly and exclusively aimed at fraudulent individuals utilizing fake and bogus degrees to manipulate the courts.
Right, the fake degree cases.
But, the digital ecosystem operates on a principle called context collapse.
Yeah, the nuance is gone.
Exactly. The clarification just couldn't outrun the original soundbite.
Yeah.
The nuance was completely stripped away, and the isolated words cockroaches and parasites were injected straight into the social media bloodstream.
Which hits a uniquely volatile demographic in India. You have millions of young, college-educated citizens facing staggering systemic unemployment.
A massive issue.
Right. They are sitting at home, frustrated, scrolling through their feeds, and they see a headline implying the Chief Justice just called them cockroaches. The perception was this immediate personal insult from the highest level of the establishment.
It struck a pre-existing nerve of societal anxiety. And this is where Abhijit Dik comes in.
Okay, the strategist.
Right. He's a 30-year-old political strategist, originally from India, but studying in the United States. He recognized this collective outrage and sent out a single tweet. What if all cockroaches come together?
It's a classic example of verbal judo. You use the opponent's momentum against them. They called you a pest, so you built a hive.
That tweet birthed the Cockroach Janata Party. It functioned as a direct parody of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP.
And the branding was wild.
It is a masterclass in weaponized apathy. They bypassed formal political registration entirely. Instead, they set up a website with satirical membership criteria designed to mirror the hopelessness felt by Gen Z.
The criteria were brutally self-aware. To join, you had to be completely or partially unemployed.
Yep.
You had to be chronically online and prone to doom scrolling. And you needed the, quote, ability to rant professionally about systemic failures.
Right. And they didn't rely on polished PR campaigns. They just utilized AI-generated visuals and recognizable internet meme templates.
The psychology behind this is vital, right? By embracing the absolute worst stereotypes society projected onto them, that they are lazy, chronically online parasites, they neutralize the insult.
Exactly. It is a defense mechanism scaled up to a mass movement. You simply cannot mock someone who is already aggressively mocking themselves.
But a self-deprecating joke only goes viral if the algorithm favors it, and the algorithm only favors it if people engage. The raw numbers here suggest this wasn't just some fleeting trend. It triggered a full-blown information war.
Oh, it exploded. Let's look at the metrics. Within a span of 4 to 5 days, the CJP's official Instagram page gained over 19.8 million followers, quickly breaching the 22 million mark.
Wait, 22 million in under a week? That gave this satirical group more than double the Instagram following of the ruling BJP, which is an entity renowned as one of the most well-funded, digitally sophisticated political machines in the world.
It's staggering.
I have to push back on this, though. I mean, is it actually possible for a meme page to organically hit 22 million followers in days without some sort of bot network or algorithmic manipulation? Or is the well of youth frustration genuinely that bottomless?
To understand the explosion, you have to look at how social media algorithms prioritize velocity.
Okay.
When a piece of content becomes a cultural signifier, meaning sharing it becomes an act of personal identity rather than just passive consumption, the algorithm registers a massive spike in engagement velocity.
Ah, I see.
It instantly pushes the content to the explore pages of lookalike audiences. It creates this self-sustaining feedback loop of organic exponential growth.
And the establishment clearly recognized the threat that kind of velocity poses.
Definitely. Union Minister Kiran Rijiju spearheaded the counter-narrative. He posted a video asserting the numbers just had to be fake, stating, "I pity those who seek their followers in social media from Pakistan and George Soros gang."
Pro-government channels really ran with that.
They did. Local media reports rapidly amplified this angle. They circulated specific statistics claiming that 49% of the CJP's followers were based in Pakistan, with other major chunks in Bangladesh, Turkey, and the U.S.
Wow.
They asserted only 9% of the audience was actually located in India. By invoking Pakistan and the billionaire philanthropist George Soros, the authorities framed this satirical movement as a coordinated external national security threat designed to destabilize the country.
I mean, it's a clear attempt to delegitimize the movement by rebranding it from domestic frustration to foreign interference.
Right.
But Abhijit Dipke didn't just deny it. He published the CJP's unedited back-end analytics, didn't he?
He released the actual demographic breakdown provided by Instagram's own internal metrics. The data revealed that 94.7% of the account's followers originated strictly from within India.
So, not Pakistan.
Not at all. Dip publicly asked the establishment, "Why would you call 94% of Indian youth Pakistanis?" He argued the government was fabricating foreign conspiracies because acknowledging genuine, organic youth anger was just politically disastrous for them.
Well, the digital numbers proved the CJP had captured the nation's attention, but, clicks are incredibly cheap.
Very true.
Following a page on Instagram requires zero physical commitment. If a digital movement wants to prove it isn't just a mirage of the chronically online, it needs a real-world catalyst to drive those millions of people out from behind their screens.
And for millions of students in India, that catalyst arrived in May and June of 2026. It took the form of a shattered academic promise, the NEET-UG medical exam scandal.
For some context for you listening, the NEET-UG is arguably one of the most hyper-competitive entrance exams on the planet.
That's brutal.
Millions of Indian students study for years, often isolating themselves in intense coaching institutes. Their families sacrifice enormous amounts of capital just to vie for a very limited number of government medical school slots. Your entire upward mobility hinges on a few hours in a testing center.
Then widespread evidence emerged of exam paper leaks.
Yeah.
The integrity of the results was completely compromised. The government was forced to order unprecedented re-examinations, deploying heavy military security and strict biometric protocols to try and salvage the process.
I really want to focus on the mechanics of the leak itself because the sources mention automated features on the Telegram messaging app. How does an exam mafia actually pull off a leak of this scale without getting caught immediately?
It relies heavily on decentralized encryption. The exam mafia has set up temporary, anonymous Telegram channels. They promise the leaked paper to desperate students for a fee. Telegram allows users to schedule messages and, crucially, set self-destruct timers. So the mafia posts the leaked exam paper at, say, 2:00 a.m., thousands of students download it, and by 2:15 a.m., the message and the channel automatically delete themselves.
Oh, wow. So there's nothing left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It leaves virtually no digital footprint for authorities to trace, completely bypassing traditional security measures.
The human cost of that systemic failure is just devastating. The pressure cooker environment reached a tragic breaking point. The sources link 17 student suicides directly to the psychological trauma and academic uncertainty caused by this compromised exam.
It's awful. And this tragedy transformed the CJP from a satirical meme into a furious physical presence. The scandal highlighted deep-seated corruption and a fundamentally broken educational pipeline.
Right.
Abhijit Dipki flew back to India from the U.S. The CJP mobilized at Jantar Mantar, which is New Delhi's designated protest zone, with a single, non-negotiable demand: the immediate resignation of Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan.
And Pradhan's response seemed to fundamentally misread the room.
He publicly admitted to past mistakes and stated he felt personally responsible for the tragedy. But he absolutely refused to resign.
Right.
He tried to defend the administration by stating that exam paper leaks cannot be stopped completely, making a pretty bizarre comparison to societal murders that continue to happen despite strict criminal laws.
I mean, the student base viewed that comparison as dangerously tone-deaf. Pradhan further deflected by blaming those automated telegram features we just discussed, rather than addressing the internal administrative corruption that allowed the papers to reach the mafias in the first place.
And then the rhetoric from the state really hardened. In an exclusive interview, Pradhan branded the Cockroach Janata Party as a B team of terrorists and disruptive elements, backed by opposition leader Rahul Gandhi.
Terrorists?
Yeah, he claimed they were exploiting student panic to intentionally sabotage national institutions.
Calling disgruntled students terrorists is a massive escalation, but the CJP responded using a tactic the establishment was completely unprepared for: profound, highly visual theatrical absurdity.
They arrived at Jantar Mantar, wearing physical cockroach masks and attaching artificial antennas to their
You
heads.
can't make this up.
They trended the hashtag #MainBeCockroach, meaning I too am a cockroach. They waved physical copies of the Constitution of India, firmly anchoring their satire within their legal democratic rights.
And they also subverted a traditional government tactic, right? During previous national events, the government had requested citizens to bang steel plates known as thalas with spoons to show national unity.
Yes, the thalas.
The CJP protesters hijacked that specific action. They banged thalas to create a deafening wall of noise, basically turning the state's own symbol of compliance into a weapon of dissent.
But my absolute favorite detail from the sources is the diaper donation drive.
Oh my God, the diapers.
Protesters brought actual baby diapers to the protest site, wrote Dharmendra Pradhan must resign on them, and collected them to mail directly to the Education Ministry. Their slogan was, "Pressure's yada high, handle nahi ho raha," which translates to, "The pressure's too high, he can't handle it."
I have to ask, why do you think theatrical mockery and absurdity are sometimes more effective at rattling powerful politicians than traditional angry shouting?
Well, the strategy behind the diapers is brilliant when you break down the mechanics of power. Traditional anger is a language the establishment understands perfectly.
Sure.
If you yell and throw rocks, the state can label you a violent threat, deploy riot police, and play the role of the protector of law and order.
But absurdity totally disarms that dynamic. I mean, how does a powerful education minister project strength while fighting a crowd of kids wearing bug masks and mailing him baby diapers?
Exactly.
If he ignores them, he looks weak and overwhelmed. If he orders the police to attack them over diapers, he looks completely ridiculous. Satire traps power in a lose-lose situation.
The absurdity made the movement impossible for the general public to ignore. However, as the physical crowd swelled and issued a formal 7-day ultimatum to the central government, the establishment's apprehension turned into aggressive, coordinated action.
The hammer came down.
The response was what you could describe as a severe immune system response from the state, attacking the movement both physically and digitally.
Let's look at the physical blockade first. At Jantar Mantar, organizers accused the Delhi police of intentionally cutting off street electricity. They restricted access to mobile water tankers and locked public toilets.
Right.
And if you've ever been in a massive crowd during a New Delhi summer heat wave without water or basic sanitation, you know this is a deliberate tactic to force physical dispersal through sheer exhaustion. Furthermore, Dip was actually publicly assaulted during a June rally in Jaipur.
And the digital crackdown was even more sweeping. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, or MeitY, executed a rapid sweep based on an urgent brief from the Intelligence Bureau. The IB flagged the CJP's meteoric online growth as a direct threat to national sovereignty and public law and order.
This resulted in MeitY invoking Section 69A of the Information Technology Act. If I understand the mechanics of this law correctly, it means the government doesn't need to go through a lengthy court battle to get a warrant.
That's right.
They can issue emergency, confidential directives compelling ISPs and social media platforms to instantly block content.
That is the exact mechanism. Meady ordered X, formerly Twitter, to immediately geo-block the CJP's verified account within Indian borders.
Ah,
Simultaneously, the group's central website was forcibly taken down.
wow.
To compound the official state blocking, Dick reported that his personal Instagram account and the party's backup accounts were hit with highly coordinated hacking and lockout attempts. For a brief period, the leadership was rendered digitally blind and unable to communicate with their massive base.
The censorship even spilled over from the government into the private sector, which is honestly one of the most surprising revelations in the source material.
It really is.
Employees at top-tier global consulting and auditing firms, specifically PwC, Deloitte, and KPMG, discovered their office intranets had completely blacklisted any web address containing the word cockroach.
Senior corporate partners implemented this filter intentionally. From a corporate risk mitigation standpoint, they wanted to ensure their internal networks weren't being used by employees to organize or engage with a highly volatile anti-government movement. It protects the firms from potential state retaliation or client fallout.
If you've ever worked in a massive corporate office, you know how tightly they control their networks. If major financial consulting firms are so terrified of their employees looking at cockroach memes that they update their firewall blacklists, this movement achieved a staggering level of cultural penetration.
Huge. But the critical challenge to the CJP, moving into July 2026 and beyond, is transitioning from that massive cultural disruption into a sustainable force. A meme can only sustain a movement for so long before it needs actual structure.
And the sources outline how they are attempting this transition. They are releasing a highly sincere, non-satirical manifesto. The demands are sweeping a 50% reservation for women in parliament, a strict ban on post-retirement political rewards for judges, and the cancellation of broadcast licenses for corporate monopolized media.
They're also laying down physical infrastructure. DIP announced the formation of formal committees across multiple Indian states to build a localized brick-and-mortar presence.
Right.
They were pivoting from being just a student protest by forging alliances with massive independent teaching communities. They brought in prominent educators like Abhinay Maths to serve in advisory ranks and push for systemic administrative testing reform.
But their most significant strategic decision is what they refuse to do. The CJP explicitly refuses to register as an official political party with the Election Commission of India.
Right.
They will not run candidates. They refuse to enter standard coalition politics. They intend to remain an independent, decentralized watchdog swarm.
The logic here is that the moment you become a registered political party, you subject yourself to the very compromises, funding pressures, and electoral mechanics you are protesting against.
That makes sense.
By remaining a swarm, they preserve their agility. They can coordinate lightning-fast accountability campaigns against whichever party holds power.
I have to challenge this strategy, though. Staying a swarm might protect them from systemic corruption, but doesn't it fundamentally doom them to fade away?
How so?
Well, historically, protest movements that refuse to institutionalize eventually burn out. If you don't hold office, you don't have the hard power to actually pass the 50% reservation for women or rewrite the testing laws. You can only ask the people you are mocking to do it for you.
It is a massive gamble. They are betting that decentralized, constant public pressure is a more effective lever of change than occupying a few minority seats in a parliament they view as fundamentally broken.
Let's zoom out and look at the sheer scale of the journey we've tracked today. A movement started from an accidental, insulting Supreme Court soundbite. It utilized the mechanics of context collapse and algorithmic velocity to become a 22 million-strong digital behemoth in less than a week.
Incredible timeline.
It then broke the digital barrier, triggered by the tragedy of the NEET-UG exam leaks. It became a physical pressure group battling systemic educational failure, took over New Delhi's protest zones with absurd theatrics, and endured severe digital blackouts and corporate censorship.
It is a profound evolution.
Whether you follow Indian politics closely or you've never heard of the Cockroach Janata Party until you hit play today, this deep dive offers a masterclass in how Gen Z is rewriting the global playbook of political dissent. They are weaponizing self-deprecating satire, exploiting decentralized technology, and funneling deep-seated economic anxiety into real-world action. They took the insult of being called a parasite and turned it into an armor of absolute, undeniable resilience.
It completely reframes our understanding of modern political engagement. But if we analyze the long-term implications of their strategy, it leaves us with a fascinating dilemma for you to think about. If a movement thrives purely on being the agile swarm that critiques and mocks the system from the outside, what happens if the swarm actually succeeds in toppling the leaders? Can you truly govern a nation with irony, or does the cockroach eventually have to become the exterminator?